Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic on one of life's great treats, because this puzzle on screen is the latest from Ard van de Wetering, the brilliant Dutch constructor who is responsible for many of the most popular videos that we've had on our channel. This one is called Angular Arrows. A very simple rule set, not quite as short as yesterday's incredibly simple rule set from Florian Wortmann, but nearly as simple. And yeah, the testers love this, and I love the fact I get 4 given digits today. Look, on a beautiful pattern of arrows. Anyway, I'll read out the rules of this one in a moment or two's time. I don't have much news for you today. I just there are a couple of things I wanted to say. The first is that over on Patreon, you've just got 3 days left to enter February's competition, which was to finish the Sudoku hunt from Riffclown, interactions, and the Sudoku gallery. I mean, the feedback on those puzzles has been absolutely terrific, so props to Riffclown for producing such a sort of perfectly balanced set of Sudokus. You've still got time. Even if you haven't started, you'll get through them in just a few hours, a few short hours, and you'll give yourself a lot of fun. So do have a go. And try and at least give yourself a chance of winning the competition. Also over on Patreon we have my mammoth solve, of course, of Jesper Josephson's circle sums. So if you like your Sudoku videos very lengthy, that might be worth checking out. And the other things I've got to mention are all birthday related. So let's start off with Kai, who has turned 35 over in, now let me try and pronounce this properly. Is it Nanaimo in Canada? I hope I'm right about how I'm pronouncing that. Apparently there is a Nanaimo bar as well, which is some sort of chocolatey dessert. So maybe that's what you're having today to celebrate your birthday. But Kai, I appreciated the fact that you liked our kind community and the escape that these puzzles provide from the madness that goes on in real life. I empathise entirely, and I hope you have a great day today. Next, Mate. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Mate, I know it's your birthday today because, well, your friends Valentin and Petra thought you'd like a shout out, as well as your other work colleagues and your volleyball teammates. So Mate, I hope you have a great birthday with chocolate cake, of course. Next, Meredith. Meredith, you've turned 25 today. And I know this because your husband, Derek, wrote to us and told us that you adored the channel. Well, we adore hearing that. So Meredith, thank you. Hope you have a great one. Next, Frankie, it's your birthday today. And I know this because your fiance Hugh wrote to us and said that apparently you used to hear my voice as you were going to sleep when Hugh was watching videos, but now you get too invested in the puzzle solving to try to go to sleep. That's great to hear. It's great to hear you're getting into Sudoku. And Frankie, I hope you have a brilliant birthday today. And then finally, to a very special young lady who is, it sounds to me, is incredibly smart. Layla in Melbourne, Australia, has turned 12 today. And I know this because your dad Rowan wrote to us, Layla, and said that you'd like a shout out. Apparently you love your dog Dash, but also cooking 4-course meals for your extended family. You're currently writing a 3-part debut novel. And also, your dad sent me some crossword clues that you wrote at the age of 10 and a half. These are cryptic crossword clues, and I had a look through them, and let me tell you, they show absolutely remarkable promise. So that is some brain you've got there, Layla, and I hope you get a brilliant birthday today. You certainly deserve it. Many happy returns. One of my favourite cities in the world that you live in as well. I haven't been there for a few years now, but I do have relatives in Melbourne, and I've always loved going there. Anyway, let's turn our attention to Angular Arrows and see what the great Ard van de Wetering has in store for us. These are the rules of the puzzle. We have normal Sudoku rules apply, so we're going to have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Digits along an arrow must sum to the digit in that arrow's circle. So let's use that one. So this could be 1, 2, and 3. And 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. So we write 6 into the circle. If we increase that to 6, then that would be 9, because 1 plus 2 plus 6 is equal to 9. And that's how arrows work. So very straightforward. and then digits cannot repeat along a blue main diagonal. So that's telling us that these cells, well, one way of putting that would be to say that those red cells there have to be a set of the digits 1 to 9. So you can't repeat a digit along there, and you can't repeat a digit either along here. So don't do that or you'll get the puzzle wrong. But do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play Let's Get Cracking. And I think there is a whole bundle of things that we can say very quickly about this puzzle. I mean, the first thing that strikes me is this could be related to Pfister-Maffel's theorem. But the second thing I'm seeing is that certainly these cells are interesting. Because they all have the same feature, which is that they have a 3-cell arrow extending from them, where the digits on those arrows, look, they all have to be different. So this has to be at least 1, 2, 3, this has to be at least 1, 2, 3, this has to be at least 1, 2, 3, and those have to be at least 1, 2, 3. And that means that these 4 cells here are at least equal to 6. But, and here is the big but, can any of these digits repeat? So is it possible to put 2 6s into this configuration, for example, of digits? And it's not because of the diagonal constraint. So I've seen this sort of thing before. So if we think about this digit, let's make this a 6. Now, we can't put 6 here and we can't put 6 here because of Sudoku. But we can't put 6 there because of the diagonal. So in fact, what we're immediately learning is that these 4 digits here are, there's going to be a 1 6, so one of the arrows must be 1 2 3. There's going to be 1 7, so one of the arrows is 1 2 4. There's going to be 1 8, and that arrow is either going to be 1 2 5 or 1 3 4. And there's going to be 1 9, and 9 will be more complicated because there are 3 ways of making 9 in 3 different digits. So you could have 1 3 5, 2 3 4, or 1 2 6. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that right, so is this Pfister-Maffel then? Okay, just to say why I'm thinking about Pfister-Maffel, if you ever, in fact, here is a general tip in Sudoku. If you are ever faced with a Sudoku in which, in these 4 corner boxes, some 2 by 2 looks like it's restricted in all 4 of the corners, immediately think about Pfister-Maffel, whether it's these cells, or the actual corners, which is what it looks like it might be today. Let's just highlight those squares for a moment. Now, the Pfister-Maffel theorem states that these 16 orange cells are the same digits as those 16 blue cells that surround the central 3 by 3 in the puzzle. So this is the exact set of 16 digits. These 2 sets of 16 digits are the same. So if this contained, no, I mean, I'm not even going to guess what it contains, but they just have to contain the same digits. If you don't believe me, go and find a Sudoku that you've finished, and you can tick the digits off, and you will find that they are the same. And the proof of that, do I want to do the proof? Do I need to do the proof? I will do the proof. I mean, the reason I'm interested in this immediately is because I've proved that there are some very high digits in the 2 by 2 boxes in the corners, and I've got lots of arrow cells in the ring. Well, I can't put 9, for example, on an arrow cell. That's not going to work. So that means because I know there's a 9 in the orange, the 9 in blue has to be not on an arrow. It can't be there by Sudoku. So there is definitely a 9 in one of those cells. There's definitely an 8. There's definitely an 8 in one of those 4 cells. Again, you can't put 8 on an arrow. 7. It's very hard to put 7 on an arrow. You could do it, though. You could do it. Imagine that was a 7, and those 2 squares were both 1s. then that arrow could have a legitimate total that wasn't a double-digit number. So, and 6 is always more problematic when it comes to 3-cell arrows, because you can always put a 6 on a 3-cell arrow. We looked at that up there. If this was 1, this was 2, and this was 6, this could add up to 9. So you can always put 6 on a 3-cell arrow, even if the digits can't repeat on that arrow. So do I want to prove this or not? I think I probably ought to. If it's alright, let me just have another 30 seconds just staring at this, because if I can't get any other conclusions, I'm not sure it's going to be terribly valuable to know one of those 3 squares is a 9. Could be related to the diagonals somehow in a way that will be more complicated for me to compute. You see, the other okay. So the other thing I'm now thinking about, which isn't necessarily related to Fistemafel, is that I can't put 4 1s on the arrow on these arrows, because I've got this arrow in the corner. So the way I'm seeing that is that if we try and put 4 1s on the arrows, then this would have a 1 here, this would have a 1 here, and this would have a 1 nowhere, because that can't be a 1. And that's sort of caused by this one being in the corner. So that means you've only got a maximum of 3 1s in the ring. Okay. Okay. Oh goodness! All right. So I am going to prove Fistemafel, because I'm going to use Fistemafel. I'm going to use Fistemafel. This is going to be full theory today. I'm going to use Fistemafel and Potato Head. So there is a Fistemafel theorem, and there's Potato Head's extension of the Fistemafel theorem, which normally applies in Knight's Move puzzles, but I know it also works for diagonal Sudoku. And that takes this setup, and it says that if there is a digit that is not in the Fistemafel ring, then that digit, there can only be one of those digits. That's the first thing that Potato Head's extension proves. And it secondly says that if there is such a digit, it must go in the middle of the puzzle. Well, that's interesting regarding that digit, which is a 5, because that's telling us that there must be in this puzzle, because there's actually a 4 and a 5, but it's the 5 that's interesting to me. Oh, hang on. I've just had another thought. Well, hang on. We can combine all these things together. Wait a minute. Right. Because, well, in this puzzle, 4 and 5... Right. So now what we can now, I think, identify exactly what the contents of orange are. Right. How about this for logic? And we'll prove the theorems in a minute, but let's do the logic first. So, if you accept Fistemafel theorem, if you accept Potato Head theorem, we can say that, yeah, because there are only 3 1s on the ring, then one of these arrows has no 1s on it. And that means that arrow is a 2, 3, 4 arrow adding up to 9. That's the only thing it could be. If you can't put 1 on a 3-cell arrow and all the digits on the arrow have to be different, they're going to have to be 2, 3 and 4 and add up to 9, because otherwise if they're 2, 3 and 5 or anything larger they would add up to 10, and we can't put 10 in a Sudoku. So one of the arrows in this puzzle is 2, 3, 4 adding up to 9. But okay, so that tells us that 4 is used in the orange cells, and 1 is used in the orange cells, 2 is used in the orange cells, 3 is used in the orange cells, and 4 is used in the orange cells. So all of those digits appear in the ring. Now 5, if it didn't appear in the ring, would need to appear here. And it doesn't, because there's a given 5 looking at this square. So 5 also needs to appear in the ring, which means 5 also needs to appear in the orange. And therefore, what arrow is the 5 on? The 5 must be on the circled arrow that adds up to 8. Because it can't be on the circled arrow that adds up to 6, because that's going to be 1, 2, 3. It can't be on the circled arrow that adds up to 7, that's going to be 1, 2, 4. And it can't be on the circled arrow that adds up to 9, because we know that the 9 arrow is not 1, 3, 5, it's 2, 3, 4, because there are only 3 ones in the puzzle. So we now know the exact contents of this. Yes, we now know I can't pencil mark it in any way, but now we know that the Fistemafell ring contains... It contains a 1, 2 and a 3, a 1, 2, a 4, a 1, 2, 5 and a 2, 3, 4. So it contains 4 2s. Right. So the Fistemafell ring contains 4 2s, which means you can never put a 2 in the corner of it. Because if you put, again, it's a bit like the reason that if we have 1 in the corner here, we can't put 4 1s in the perimeter cells. It's the same sort of principle. If we put 2 here, then, and we're going to try and put 4 2s in the ring. How are we going to do it? We can't put 2s in any of those squares. I could put a 2 here, for example, and I could put a 2 there, for example. But where do I put the 4th 2? There is nowhere for it to go, because this 2 sort of consumes 2 units. Whereas if I did that, now I have got 4 2s that don't break Sudoku in the Fistemafell ring. So what we need to do now is to say 2s here, 2s here, 2s here and 2s here, because there are 4 2s in the ring. And we can do, and because there are 4 2, there's a 2 on every arrow in these corner cells. We can, well, we also know that there's no 2s in the corner again, for the same reason we've just been looking at. If we put a 2 in a corner, we're going to have the same problem we had with 1 in a corner, i.e. let's try and put a 2 on every arrow now. That's not going to work. We can't put 2 2s in this row. So in fact, we're going to have a 2 here, a 2 here, a 2 here, 2 here, and a 2 here, and a 2 here. Now, how do we take that forward? Or maybe I go back now and let's do some quick proofs. Let's do some quick proofs. So the quick proofs we will do, oh goodness, I want to Control A, do that. So the way to prove Fistemafell, I do it very quickly. Or if you don't want to watch this, and you can watch the number file video where I do it. So let's highlight those squares in blue. Now the key to understanding Fistemafell is to understand that we can precisely define the contents of those blue cells I've just highlighted, because these blue cells consist of a complete row of the Sudoku there, another complete row of the Sudoku there, a complete box of the Sudoku there, and another complete box of the Sudoku there. So the blue cells altogether can be described as containing 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9, because that is going to be a set of the digits 1 to 9, it's a complete row, that's another set, that's another set, and that's another set. So blue is 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9. And now I'm going to highlight 4 complete columns of the Sudoku, those cells. Now, those orange cells, they are 4 complete columns, so they are also 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9. Now, do we agree at this point that the blue set and the orange set contain the identical things? Hopefully we do. They both contain 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9. Now let's imagine we took this cell, the contents of this cell. We don't need to know what the contents are. We're just going to remove this from both sets. We're going to remove it from the orange set and the blue set. Now we don't quite know the contents of blue and orange anymore because we don't know what this digit is. We know that blue and orange used to contain 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9. They now contain, each of them contains 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9 minus that. So they still contain exactly the same thing. We just can't define it as precisely anymore because we don't know what's missing. But they still contain exactly the same thing because they were the same before and we took the same thing out of both. And we can do that for all of these cells that have 2 colours in them. We'll take all of these out. We're left with 16 cells of blue and 16 cells of orange, but they must contain the same thing still. Isn't that pretty? So that's the proof of Fistemafel. Let's just extend that potato head, which normally works for Knight's move, but I know it's meant to work for diagonal Sudoku as well. But I haven't proved it for diagonal Sudoku for a very long time. So I might have to just think a minute about this. How does this work? Yeah, okay, so if there's a digit... Oh no, it's actually very straightforward. It's very straightforward. If there's a digit that is not in the blue cells, then that digit is also, by Fistemafel, not in the orange cells. That's what we've just proved. So imagine there was such a digit. Where is that digit going to live in this box? And the answer is, well, it's not in the blue cells and it's not in the orange cells. So it's either in this domino or it's in this domino. It's in one of those 2 things. Let's imagine it's in this domino. Now where is it in this box? Again, it can't be in orange or blue. And now it can't be in this column, so it's in these 2 squares. And now where is it in this box? It's going to have to be in these 2 squares. And where is it in this box? It's going to have to be in those 2 squares. And can you see what's happened? So now, where are we going to put this digit that apparently that we're hypothesizing exists? Where are we going to put that on the 2 diagonals? Because on this diagonal, it can't be in these 3 squares because it's in this domino, and it can't be in these 3 squares because it's in this domino. So it must be in one of those squares on the negative diagonal. And on the positive diagonal, it can't be in these 3 squares and it can't be in these 3 squares. So it also needs to be in these 3 squares. And if it's simultaneously in these 3 squares and these 3 squares, where is it? Yep, it's there. It's got to be in the middle. So if there is a digit that is not in the Fistemafel ring in a diagonal Sudoku, it's in the middle cell. And therefore, as the middle cell is not 5 in this puzzle, 5 is not missing from the ring. And if 5 is not missing from the ring, it's not missing from the corners. And if 5 is not missing from the corners, it must be on an arrow, and it must be on the 8 arrow, QED. So, sorry, that's all a bit of a long-winded way of proving something that I feel like many of you probably got instantly the moment you looked at the puzzle. But what does it mean then in this context? So we've worked out there are 4 2s and okay, well these two are not 9s. Oh, well that's, oh goodness me. Oh well, this is good. No, this is good. I'm going to elide over the fact that I could have got that a long time ago, and that would have allowed me to instantly place a 1 here, I've just noticed. Oh, I'm now worried that there might be a much simpler way to do this puzzle. Oh well, okay, there could well be. I'm sorry if there is an easier way, then this has all been for nothing. But look, this can't be a 9, so it's a 3-cell sum adding up to 6, 7, or 8. Now, whichever one of those it is, there must be a 1 on this arrow. And look, That one's going to have to be there. Sorry. Now that is giving us a 2. That's going to place all the 2s in the puzzle, or all the 2s around the corners. And to get those 2s, I did need to use the fact that there was no 5 in the middle. So maybe the 2s, that 2s thing was still useful. One of these is a 9. Oh dear, no, this is bad. Oh no. No, I'm still going to claim that it's not a complete waste of time. This arrow now can't have a 1 on it, look. So that must be the arrow that adds up to 9. And that means that's not a 9. So this arrow's got a 1 on it. Oh goodness, so we get a 1 here. And now... Well, now we've right, so all of these other arrows have all got 1 and 2 on them. So this is a 3, 4, 5 triple. Because we know each of these totals is different, isn't it? So these must all be different from one another. Oh, well, that's quite useful. That given digit's quite useful, because that's knocking 4 out of those 2. So that's got to be the 4. One of those had to be a 4. Now this arrow adds up to 7. I've got a bad feeling about this. I've got a bad feeling this was much simpler than I'm making it. Okay, now that square's got to be a 4, because that sees a 3 and a 5. By the diagonal mechanism, you get this pattern a lot in diagonal Sudoku. So you can see, ordinarily, of course, this wouldn't work, because this digit wouldn't see that one. But in diagonal Sudoku, it definitely does. So this 3-5 pair sees that square and forces it to be 4. So that's now 3. No, I don't know. That's we could probably do more than that, but I can't see how. Right, let's get rid of the highlighting from those squares and think again. Now this 5, one of these is a 5. And we know... Okay. Do we know what that digit is now? Because that digit has a similar quality to this digit in that it does see the 3-5 pair. So that digit can't be... Well, it couldn't be 5 anyway, but it can't be 3, 4 or 5. Or 1. Right, let's list this. So this is 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's 2, isn't it? Because the other thing we could say about the middle cell, which has probably been available for ages, is it sees a 6, 7, 8, 9 quadruple in the corners. Oh, Simon. So remember, we said these digits all had to be different, didn't we? So this is a 2 just straight away. Oh dear. Oh dear. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure how much of this theory we needed to do. I'm sort of losing track in my brain of whether it's necessary or not. But anyway, what's that doing? So now we've got a weird pattern of 2s in the Fistenfell ring. But we could have 2 2s on an arrow, couldn't we? I don't think there's a problem with that. Oh, I don't know. Let's... I sort of want these to be 6, 7, 8 and 9. But I don't think that's required at all. I mean, the minimum... I want to say the minimum that these arrows can be is 4. That might be wrong, but let me show you what I mean. If that's a 4... I mean, actually, that's not going to work. No, okay, I'm going to change that now. I think the minimum is 5. 4 I could have done. but it would have had to look like that, and I've just realised that I can't put 2 in the corner of the Vistamafel ring for the reasons that we've been talking about. We need 4 2s. So, but I could do 5, I think. Could I do 5? If I do 5, why couldn't I do that? I absolutely think I can do that. So, okay. So 5 is possible in these, but 4 isn't. So these squares are from 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Now these two are not 9 by Sudoku. And actually, oh, that's not 9. Right, so does this have to be 9? Well, actually it does. It does have to be 9, but not because of anything that's going on in the middle box. It's got to be 9 because we need to put a 9 on this diagonal. And where are we going to put it? It can't go on an arrow. That's the crucial point. You can't put it on an arrow because that arrow will definitely add up to more than 9. So that is a 9. Now, I think there's a multitude of ways that we could make this arrow work, though. Maybe we do some Sudoku then. Let's do Sudoku. I can put 1 in one of those squares. I can put 1 in one of these squares, and how many 1s do I need on the ring? I need 3, don't I? So there's got to be another 1, and it's going to be in this congregation of digits. No, Simon. Right, where is the 1 on the positive diagonal now? It's not here because of this one. It can't be in these squares, so it's there. Okay, so we do get a 1 in the corner of the ring. So I do think Fistenfeld's providing something to us. Oh, although is it? No, because I could have just done that using the diagonal. That's how I did it. I'm not sure. So let's finish pencil marking these diagonals. What have we put on them? Ah, we don't know, do we? No, we don't know. 3 on the positive diagonal is definitely in one of those 2 squares. Can we do anything with that? I don't think so. What about... oh, where is 4 in column 7? I think we've actually got a 2-4 pair there. That might be helpful. Or not. What does this column need? It needs 3, 4, 7 and 9. We can't put 4 in either of those squares, so they are 3, 7, 9. That's not 9, so this digit's very restricted. That's just 3 or 7. Okay, let's try and pencil. Ah, that's not 7, I've just noticed, by the power of the negative diagonal. So what do we need to put on the negative diagonal? We've got... No, we haven't got that many things. We need to put 3, 4, 5, 6 and 8. So I'm going to pencil mark it, and then I'm going to think. I mean, clearly we can't put 8 in those squares. That's just not going to work. And could we put... We could certainly put 6 in this one. If that was 6, this would be 2, and this would be 1. So that can definitely be 6. That can't be... Oh, no, that can't be 6, because that's at least a 2. So that's definitely not 6. So this is 3, 4 or 5. Now, That seems okay. Oh no, it's not 4. It's not 4 because there's a 2-4 pair, so that's 3 or 5. Ah, right, now I've got a 3-5 pair on the negative diagonal. So now I've got this down to 4, and that loses its ability to be 5 as well. Now I've got a 6-8 pair. Oh, okay, that's okay. Sorry, this is just a 4 then by Sudoku, which gives me a 4 here by Sudoku. Okay, maybe that just doesn't quite go as far as we need it to, but it was a bit interesting for a moment. So now on this column we've just got 3s, 7s and 9s to place. And that's a 4. So these two digits... yeah, here's something interesting. Look, these two digits have to add up to 5. But this can't be a 1-4 pair because 1 and 4 in box 2 are in these squares. So this can be neither 1 nor 4. So this is a 2-3 pair. Which means that's not a 1. These are a 2-3 pair. And can we do so? Do we know which way round that goes? Oh, I don't know. I don't think we do. These are different. I'm going to colour them actually for that reason. They are definitely different. If I knew that was a 3, one of these would be a 3. If I knew that was a 3, that would be a 3. No, okay, I don't know how to do that. Let's try... What am I meant to try now? Okay, I'm going to pencil mark this digit. I think that's the one digit on both diagonals I haven't pencil marked yet. And that can be 3, 5... I mean, it could be 6, 7 or 8, but it can't be 8, can it? That's just not going to work. And if it's 7... Oh, it can't be 7 because this can't be 9. So this is 3, 5 or 6. Can we keep going with that? Maybe or maybe not. If that's 6, this has to be double 1. That's going to mean this is at least a 2. That couldn't add up to an even number then. Oh, yeah, that's in... Okay, we can do parity, can't we? So this is an even number. These two will add up to an odd number. So this needs to be odd. That can't be 2. Wow, so this is 2. And now this can't be 6, because then this would already be 8 without adding in this digit. So this is 3 or 5. Now I've got a 3-5 pair on the positive diagonal. So this is not 5. This is not 5. I've got a 6, 7, 8 triple, the 7 of which is definitely in one of those squares. Ah, this does feel interesting now. This has got to be odd, doesn't it, to make this this. So that's 1 or 3. It can't be 5 because these are adding up to at least 5. So this is 1 or 3. And that means oh, hang on. Is there some sort of jiggery-pokery going on? Like, I haven't worked this out yet, but these 4 squares they all see each other in strange ways. I don't know, so I'm just wondering if we can colour them somehow. They must have some sort of relationship to these as well. So let's use different colours. We'll make that yellow, and we'll make this, what should we use? I'll just make it red for a moment. So now this must be yellow, which means that must be red. Can we do something with this? The answer is apparently no. I do know red is in one of these squares, and there's a 4 in one of these squares. So these are from 3, 4, 5 then, because red has to appear there, one of these two cells. Okay, sorry, no, that doesn't seem to be important. Oh, hang on, where are 4 and 5 in the middle box? That's a totally legitimate question. So they are there. Aha, right. So that, right, so this is 3. Now 3, so which means that's 4. Now that means that red digit is 3. There we go. So the red digit, that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. I haven't had one of those for ages, it seems. That's got to be 1. That's got to be 8. That's got to be 6. That's got to be 7. We are suddenly cooking with gas here. Now that's a 1 by Sudoku. So that's a 2. That's a 4. That's a 2 to make this arrow add up. That's a 3. That's a 2. This is not a 3. I've got a, oh no, I think I've always had a 6, 8 pair in column 2. But, okay, now where's 1 in the middle box? 1 is here, so that's a 3. These squares are not 1s. This square is not 1 or 4, look, by Sudoku. So this is a 1, 4 pair, and we know the order. So that's 1, that's 4. This column looks like it's nearly done. 5 and 8 to place. That's 8, that's 5, using the power of the 5 in the corner. That's an 8 by mathematics. That's a 6 by mathematics. Diagonals are suddenly finished. The 4 here gives me a 4 and a 5. Okay. So 8 in column 2 is now in one of 2 places, I can see. 9 in column 5 is in one of 2 places. What about this column? We need to put in 5, 6 and 7. So the 5 can only be here because of this 5 and this 5. So we get a 6, 7 pair. Okay, so this is from 6, 7, 8. This is from 6, 7, 8. What about this row then? We need, oh, 6s and 7s again. I think we're nearly done. Well, what we could do. Bingo. Right. Remember what we said right at the start about the Fistemafell ring. I was interested in the high digits that I knew had to appear in the Fistemafell ring. Well, all of these arrows now have only got low digits on them. Oh, I wonder if there was a way of always proving that. I don't know, but these squares have to be the 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are all different numbers. Because they have to be the equivalent of these numbers in the corners. This is so clever, Ard. It's so clever. So now, what does that mean? I don't know, do I? Oh, no, I don't know. I'm wrong. Okay, I thought it was going to be a trick around those 4 having to be different. But if it is such a trick, I can't see it. I can't see how to do it. Let's double click numbers. How many 1s? Oh, we've got loads of 1s, right. We can get a 1 there. Double click 2s. I've got all the 2s apparently. Double click 3s. I do not have all the 3s, but I can get a 3 there by Sudoku. Yeah, I can do all the 3s, look. That's good. So you can do all the 3s. Let's double click the 4. Oh, loads of 4s. We've done all the 4s. Loads of 5s. Yeah, I can do a 5 over here, look. Which gives me a 5 here. So I've done all the 5s. Let's do all the 6s. Oh, whoa, no. Okay, that's very odd. We've hardly done any 6s at all. But, oh no, what I was about to say was gibberish. I'm not saying it anymore. Okay, let's check this row. 6 and 8. No, okay, I don't seem to know, do I? That's 6, 7 or 9 by Sudoku. This row, that's a 7 or a 9. So that is a 6, 8 pair. What do we need to complete this box? 7, 8, 9. Oh, here we go. That's a naked single. It sees 7 and 9 in the row. Just didn't realise that's a 7, 9 pair now, so that gives me a 6 here. 8, 6. Well, that 6 is interesting because it means we can take 6 out of all of these squares. So let's do that and see. That does good. Look, that gives me a 7, 9 pair there. So that's now an 8. This is a weird. I think I have solved this in the most higgledy-piggledy way. Right, these are a 7, 8, 9 triple now. That's not 8, that's not 9 or 7, so that's 8. And so now I've got a 7, 9 pair in the ring, and that has to be 8 using the powers that we've been working on. That's now a 9. This is 7, this is 7, this is 9, this is 9. That's 7 by Sudoku, so that's 6. Okie dokie. I should be able to do this column, shouldn't I? That must be 6. 8 and 9, that's got to be 8. That's got to be 9, that's got to be 9, that's got to be 7. If that's 9, we know that's 7, so that's 6. We need a 9 in this, we need a 7 in this row. And that's 7 and that's 6. That is a comical part. How long does that take me? 46 minutes. Now, I wonder whether I could have got that done in about 20 minutes if I didn't use Fistamafel. I just don't know. I just don't know. I do think I could certainly have placed a 1 there very early. I think I would have known one of these was 9. I'd have known one of the 9s was 2, 3, 4. Now, what I wouldn't have known, I don't think, without Potato Head and Fistamafel, is that the 8 arrow was 1, 2, 5. But how much did I need? How much did I actually use that? Did I use that at all? I used that. What I did do is I did use that to work out that there were 4 2s on the arrows in the corners. And therefore the disposition of 2s on those arrows was never in the corner. I did do that, and that might have been semi-intelligent. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how important it was to the solve, but that does seem to be a reasonable thing that did result from using the theorems. Yeah, but the other thing that's slightly worrying me is if we look at the middle box, I've got a 6, 7, 8, 9 quadruple in these squares. And I wonder if the moment... Oh, is this... I'm wondering whether there was some Sudoku-related thing I could have done which would have pinpointed these squares as all high. See, if that was true, imagine there was a way that we could have got those grey squares as 4 high digits straight away, somehow. I don't know what that way is, I haven't spotted it. But then the 4, 5 here would immediately have gone there. This would have been a 1, 2, 3 triple off the bat. Oh, I don't know. I'm intrigued. I might go and have a play with this after I turn off the webcam. But angular arrows, as usual, from Ard. All we need to know is that this is quite brilliant. It's fascinating. The geometry in this is fascinating. And we get a 45. We get a secret in the grid and a 9, because there are 9 Sudoku boxes, 9 cells in each row and column. And yeah, everything's going on. Props to Ard. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.